I have no idea if we're live. So.
I don't know either.
This is trying, it looks like it's trying to make the connection. Of course, we're bouncing around from the stupid washer.
It happens.
Yeah, no.
That's life. Oh, I see us now.
Now we're live? Now we're finally live.
We're live.
Okay, so 15 seconds we've been live. See, this app really doesn't gives us the right information. We thought we were live, and obviously we weren't live. We were just talking to ourselves like normal. But right now I'm David.
And I'm Brenda.
And we're from OutsideOurBubble.com, and we're just kind of bored. I mean, it's a rainy day up here in upstate New York, and we're sitting here mucking around online, and we said, hey, let's see if anybody out there wants to chat. And so we're doing that. And if you care to ask us any questions, feel free. Other than that, we're just gonna kind of muck around with some of the settings and play around here with some of the things we're doing.
Hi from Kazakhstan.
That's a distance.
South Dakota. Actually, we could hear you muttering.
You can hear us muttering.
Yeah,
okay.
That happens.
So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to set up some camera angles with this software so I can just switch cameras between me, Brenda, and a wide shot. So we're wide right now. So in any case, can you hear us okay out there? Oh, I guess if you say you heard us muttering around, then I guess then you could. But anyways, we're just we have nothing to do. We're bored right now, and like I said, and we decided that we would just start broadcasting from our motor coach and see if anybody had any questions for us, because we got a number of subscribers out there, and I know this was an unscheduled event, but sometimes the unscheduled stuff is fun, and if you have questions for us, we're happy to take them. And
we were live before we thought we were live.
Is that what somebody said?
Yeah.
Well, that could be both good and bad, Ann. You never know, right? Right. So this is an open chat session. Basically, we have a chat window open so we can see your notes. Everybody else can see your notes as you chat, and we're trying to answer them as they come up. And other than that, we are broadcasting with our new Mevo live stream camera. It allows us to use an app and do things like, change camera positions like this from me to Brenda and back to a wide view and what have you. This big thing in front of us is our USB microphone. So, any case, your work does not support video format. It's YouTube. YouTube is YouTube. I don't know what to tell you there, Rodeo YouTube. Mom, unless they block it. The video is just a straight video feed that is a normal video stream, so they're doing something at work to you, unfortunately.
What's the coldest outside temperature we've experienced in our awesome RV?
18 degrees. We've been down in the 18-degree weather with this motor coach.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose, yeah. We try not to go into cold temperatures. That's the whole point of being mobile for us, is we like to stay in the 70s or 80s kind of thing.
It was in Texas.
And that was in Texas. It was 18 degrees in Texas. And the good news is our coach is heated throughout, and the basement is also heated, so we're well equipped for such temperatures, and we never felt, that we were cold. I mean, unless we went outside, obviously. But that's what we did. Everything else was fine other than that.
Yeah, it's cold in Texas when they close the churches down. You never hear of churches being closed.
No, not at all. Yeah, that was in Texas. They closed the churches. It was that cold. That's just strange.
Yeah.
It really is. That's just
strange.
Strange.
Ice on the roads.
Yeah. And they're not used to that up there, down there, in Texas. So what else we got out there, guys?
Do we regret not having Comfort Drive like Newmar?
No, not at all. And people have asked me that in the past. Obviously, I was quick to answer that one when we read it. And the reason for that is because think about how much you're actually driving the motor coach. For us, it's all about the quality of the build of the coach and the livability of the coach, not the drivability so much. Now, no, not to say it doesn't play a role. Driving the motor coach surely plays a role. And the Comfort Drive, for what it is, it's a very nice system. But to pick one manufacturer over another just based on the comfort drive itself is not the way to choose an RV, in my humble opinion. And that's because you're not driving most of the time. Most of the time you're parked. So
well, and I get this question a lot on Facebook is, what makes one manufacturer better than the other, and it's really just preference. But the biggest part about picking an RV, in our opinion, is make sure the floor plan works for you. There's different manufacturers out there with different floor plans, and you walk into these RV shows and you get the oohs and the ahs, but really look at that RV and see, can I sit on the couch and watch the TV comfortably, or is it across the RV next to the kitchen stove? So when I'm cooking dinner and David's trying to watch TV, that's not going to work.
Now, if we talk about floor plans a lot, it seems we always lead the floor plans. The conversation leads to floor plans. That's because it's the biggest part of choosing a motorhome is the floor plan. It really is. If you get something and you buy it out of the wow factor of going to an RV show, you might find yourself stuck, like, oh my God, why didn't I think this through? Why, this is not how I live. The TV's in the wrong place, the shower size, whatever, things like that. But it does make a difference. Anyways, that's enough about floor plans. We do have a question out there of new versus used. I see Jim asked, like to get a review of new versus used units. I'm guessing, I don't know what you mean by a review, but in our opinion, buying new versus used, I guess maybe that's what you're asking, Jim. And if that's the case, that all comes down to money and preference.
Well, and floor plan and how well the used unit has been taken care of.
Yes. Like, for example, right now the motor coach we're in is a 45 LP by Tiffin. And this is by far the best floor plan that we've come across. For us. Exactly. Yes. For us. See, we're back to floor plans. And right now, we wouldn't buy another motor coach because there is nothing that we like better than this floor plan. So it makes no sense for us at this time to change motorhomes.
And this is a 2014.
And if anything happened to this coach right now, I would buy a used 45 LP. That's how much we like it versus some of the other floor plans that are out there. Yeah, so it all comes down to preference, need, and how well the coach was taken care of.
Oh, someone says hello from Western New York.
Oh, hello.
Not sure where you are, but we're in Byron, New York, between Buffalo and Rochester.
Yeah, we're at Southwoods RV Resort, where we'll be leaving possibly in a week. I'm at that point in the stay. Where, we're ready to move on. But when we pick a date, we've been parked for so long, I start to get a little down about leaving.
You get a little down about leaving, but on the flip side, you also get anxious to get back on the road. You get that itch to get back on the road, but then you get nervous because you're going to be moving again. I mean, it's a whole plethora of emotions. As we sat, we've been here since the beginning of April, and we haven't moved because we've been enjoying our family and friends and everything, and our seasonal lot here that we just like staying here.
Well, we got a lot of people from overseas, Europe and Ireland. Hello, Dave from Ireland.
How cat-proof is the leather furniture?
Oh!
Scratch-proof.
That actually is a very good idea. A good question, excuse me, not idea.
We travel with 2 cats.
We do.
As you may or may not know.
Yes. And that's, again, it's based on the quality of the furniture that they put in. Now, what they have in this motor coach is defined as ultra leather. Now, ultra leather, you have to understand, in the U.S. here, depending on where that question came from, ultra leather is a brand name. It's not real leather. It's fake leather. It's ultra leather.
It still feels good. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't feel like vinyl or anything.
No, and we've had zero issues, and we've had 4 cats in this motor coach, and we have no marks on our coach whatsoever, except for where I ran into it with my Segway.
Yeah, you heard that right. He got a Segway and he was riding around inside the coach with it. I think you can mute that.
Oh yeah, my computer. Yeah, somebody's just letting me know something on the back side. Hey, Michael, is that Brenda's a little low on the mic. I'm using our Blue Yeti microphone here, and I do have it in front to back mode. Pretty sure it's in front to back mode. Hey, what I'm going to do, just for fun, guys, is I'm going to switch the mode of the microphone. Okay, So I just switch it to a different mode, and now if Brenda talks...
And I'm talking.
Okay.
So you can test the microphone.
Now we're going to see, is that stereo or is that front to back? So when this portion of it comes up, let us know, please.
Here's a good question. Somebody asked if we've ever had maintenance done at a Freightliner Oasis network location, and if yes, were we happy with it?
Oh, yeah. A few places, actually.
Well, on our other coach, this coach is not a Freightliner. This coach is a Power Glide chassis. And that is actually made by Tiffin. But our first coach that we had was a Gulfstream Tourmaster, and that was on a Freightliner chassis. And we had gone to a few different Freightliner repair centers, and yes, I think we had good service at all of them. But the one that we really enjoyed and we went back to time and time again was in Gaffney, South Carolina, and that's their main Freightliner service center. Right down the road is where they actually make the Freightliner chassis. You could take a tour, and they have different educational workshops that they do there. But the people in Gaffney, South Carolina, they are excellent people to deal with, and we would go back there in a heartbeat if we had a Freightliner chassis.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. She's correct. I'm just saying because I'm thinking about something else, and again, it's the microphone, and if you can hear Brenda better at this point. And Michael says, yes, it's better. So thank you, Michael, for that help. So we'll stay in that mode right now. Getting back to the questions, and hello to Michael in Las Vegas, by the way. Let's see. Wow, their questions are flying by. Let's go back up here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling here. Somebody's heading from Utah to Eugene, Oregon in 2 weeks. Any suggestions where we should go with a big bus this time of year? Unfortunately, we haven't really done Oregon. And in Utah, we've only done the very southern part and the 5 big national parks there. So I'm sorry to say we don't really have any good places to go because we haven't hit that area quite yet.
We've actually had a few questions fly by about traveling to other countries. We have not done so. We do not travel with our motor coach to Europe or South America or anything like that. The furthest we've been with our motor coach, not this one, but our other motor coach, is Newfoundland.
Which is an island off of Canada.
Yeah, we spent a month and a half in Newfoundland, which was awesome. Let's see.
David, did you have to redo your license to do the weight of the coach and car?
That all depends on the state you live in, and they have different states have different requirements for licensing. And we're Florida. In Florida, you can walk up, buy a motor coach, and drive out of the dealership. There's nothing needed other than a regular class license. In New York, you're supposed to, and where we're used to be from, there was a Class R driver's license, and Class R stood for any recreational vehicle over 26,000 pounds. And they required you to take a test for that.
Yeah, which we both did, and we both passed and got those on our license when we were New York residents. Yeah,
but some states, they require different things. So it all depends on the state that you're registered in and your license is in. So that's a good question, though.
I will refer this one to you.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts about lithium house batteries? Because I don't really know anything about house batteries.
It depends on how you use your motor coach. We don't boondock a lot. I mean, we boondock, I think, once a year, or if we're staying overnight at a Walmart parking lot as we travel or something like that. So we don't need to live on batteries. So I'm not going to, there's no way in hell I'm going to spend the money on lithium batteries, and the system needed to support that, because we don't boondock enough. If we were boondocking and parking without power for longer periods of time, it might be something we would consider. But for us, I can't answer that question fully, only because it's... We don't do it. We don't boondock enough. So if you boondock, then they might be something that you want to spend the money on. To us, it's just not worthwhile.
Here's Dave is asking, will you use Alexa or Google Home to run all your systems in the future?
What do you mean in the future? We already do. It just heard me say Alexa, so that answers your question. She's talking right now. Alexa, stop. So, to answer your question, me and the gentleman I was speaking with earlier, Michael, Michael developed Coach Proxy, and I helped work with him for a long time on getting it and getting it made for the motor coaches, and it's currently available for the Tiffin Motor Coach, and we can do things like Alexa, turn off main lights.
Okay.
So Alexa, turn on main lights.
Okay.
So we already can do that. So the future has been here for us for quite some time, actually, thanks to Coach Proxy.
You do need
you need
Wi-Fi.
you need
internet.
You need to have there's obviously there's going to be requirements for such a thing, and that is Wi-Fi in your motor coach, internet access in your motor coach, because Alexa.
No, she heard you.
Cancel. And Google Home, which we also have, does require internet to work. So, anyways, we're way ahead of the game there.
Yes. Anne wants to know, as our New York departure time approaches, do we have an agenda for the next 6 months, or do we just wander? Of course, Uberfest is on their calendar.
Yeah, we do. We don't really have an agenda. We like to wander, but at this point of the game right now, we're going to be going from here to Texas, hanging out in Burleson, Texas for a little while, then heading over to Arizona by December 10th, and then we'll stay there until we go over to Uberfest in January, and then after Uberfest, we
don't have any plans.
We have zero plans.
I am a little concerned though, because I've heard on Facebook and the rumblings out there in the internet web that people are having a hard time finding reservations because RVing is becoming so big and popular, especially in the winter time. There's a lot of places that fill up really quick. Like, we had our Arizona plans booked last year, and we know this coming winter, it's difficult in the snowbelt areas to find places to stay.
Yeah, it's getting harder with the more RVing has boomed, very much so. Here's a question that Kevin had asked a long time back, it looks like, and I missed it, but I think it's a good one, Kevin. We heard of, I think he was referring to me, what are my favorite accessories, but what are Brenda's favorite accessories? And I know one thing she's going to say right off.
My favorite accessory? Well, I guess it's for cooking is the Instant Pot. Not that I do all the cooking. David does cooking too, but the Instant Pot, I did a blog post on it, and it's perfect for RVers because you can cook one pot meals in a quick amount of time, less water, less mess, and it's just, I love it. So that's my one gadget, I guess, that happens to be a kitchen gadget that I love.
Hey, listen, just so you're aware, there's a lot of messages flying. If we didn't answer your question, it's not like we don't like you or anything. It's just that we maybe missed it, or maybe we covered it or something. So we apologize, because there's a long list here. Depending on when you came into this unscheduled show, we might have already answered the question, so we apologize. But any case,
I'm scrolling backwards. Jim has asked. He bought the Wii Boost.
Beverly Andrews is on my.
And had no luck. Does it really work? And he got the RV edition.
Oh, the Wii Boost, yeah, it works great. Would not be without it. And you got to remember something that people often forget. On devices such as the Wii Boost, which is a cell phone amplifier, you're only as good as the signal you receive. So the most important part of that entire thing is the external antenna. So you're only as good as the signal you can receive. So if you cannot receive a signal, there's nothing to amplify, and therefore you can do poorly. So the most important part of the entire kit is a good external antenna. So that is key. So we do very well. We use the trucker antenna out there, and it all depends on how good the cell towers are too. Nothing's perfect. We've been to some places where I've had to pull out an omnidirectional antenna and basically disconnect the antenna on the roof and point the omnidirectional antenna at the closest tower to get the best reception I can get at that point. So yeah, you might not think it's working, but I bet you it is, or you just, I don't know, cabling issue, something like that. But as you've seen in my videos, if you looked at them, you surely can see there is a signal increase and there's a data throughput on download, and majorly more on upload, because you can put out a lot more signal strength going out.
So So Jeff says he agrees regarding the chassis as long as it doesn't get overloaded due to the manufacturing construction.
We won't go there because we just had, actually I shouldn't say we won't go there. We've gone there, been there in the past. Actually, somebody on
on Facebook,
just recently posted the whole thing about that. Not a whole thing, but made mention that, hey, you might want to check your weights. Yeah, motor coach weights are very important, and making sure they're not overloaded on the axles is a huge thing that people neglect, unfortunately. So we're going to just scroll through here a second.
How's the Mach 8 AC unit upgrade working?
Awesome. This is one other product. If you have a Mach 8 air conditioner, this is a product that I would not be without again. If we bought another motor coach and I had a Mach 8 on it, I definitely would put the kits in, that's for sure. To the extent, please understand that I bought one kit, and because I wanted to test it first to see if it really made that much of a difference. So I didn't do all three at one time. I bought one kit, put it on the rear air conditioner, which is the one we tend to use the most, and it made such an improvement. I ordered 2 more kits and did all 3 air conditioners.
We actually had an Ubi come to the park. That's what we call our followers, Ubis, outside our bubble. And we had an Ubi come to the park, and he had the air conditioners, but without the hush kit. And he's like, man, we're sitting outside, and the air conditioner kicks on, and we can't even talk anymore because it's so loud. And we're standing outside talking to him, and our air conditioners, all 3 of them are running, and we're talking at a normal voice, and it dawns on him that we have the hush kits installed, and he's like, oh my God, I have to get those.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of great. The install actually was very easy to do. Anybody should be able to do it. There's not much involved, but it is well worth it, in our opinion, to spend the money to do it. And it is quieter inside the motor coach, too. We have noticed, without the loss of any cooling capacity.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Beverly asks if we've had any temps high enough to require a huge demand on the AC, and she's worried about the unit freezing up. Yeah,
we've been in 93-degree weather since we've had them, and humid in upstate New York, so we have not...
3 days of 90-plus degree weather.
Yeah, so if that's hot enough for you, then yeah, Beverly. And I happened to notice you were talking to Michael that you're heading that way. You and Jim are heading that direction? What? Did you see that? Beverly said they're heading to Las Vegas area.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
I was kind of lost on that because... You would think, passing through Texas, where we're going to be, Beverly, that you would look to stop and join us.
Maybe she's going to surprise us for Uber
Oh, maybe that's it. It's going to be a whole surprise. Yeah. See your new little puppy.
Yeah.
Okay, we figured you out, Beverly.
Kevin wants to know, being an audio-video guy, he was thinking of putting an outside movie screen that can be taken on and off on the side of the bus. Do you think it's inconsiderate and annoying for your neighbors?
Yeah. Can be.
Depends on
it depends on where you are, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I particularly don't like the people that sit outside with their televisions up too high, and you're right next to them, so you can't help but hear their television. I definitely wouldn't want to have somebody next to me with 2 larger speakers, with a large screen. It all depends on the situation, where you are, and what's going on. So that is the only thing I can mention on that. And you're talking to an audio-video guy. Yeah, I mean, we also have an external movie screen that we can put up and take down at any time. We carry a projector, a couple of them actually, and we have an audio system too that we can put up. And we do those only when we do functions like Uberfest, or when we get asked to by a campsite. We've put them up on the outside and done them, but not next to our coach for the most part, because it
can be intrusive.
Yeah, it all depends on the environment.
Yeah.
It all depends on where you are.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm an audio-video guy. I mean, that's my biggest background, being in that industry, the CE industry, for a long time.
But we want to be considerate of neighbors, too.
Yes.
Yeah. So it all depends. Ken says, we are full-time newbies. What is your suggestion for good internet while traveling?
Oh, gosh. You really got to do a lot of reading on that one. There's so much information out there on this. So for us to give what's the best... you want yourself a boosting system. You want to have whole coach or whole RV Wi-Fi system put in, so all your devices stay connected to your own private network, and then that network connects either to the park or connects to your jetpack. As far as providers go and how you get that service, that's all up in the air, and that all depends also on how much data you're going to use. And a lot of people nowadays are they're so used to using Rokus and stuff like that for streaming. Guess what? You're going to be shit out of luck when it comes to streaming online for the most part when you're in an RV park, because the data throughput required for streaming on a Roku or other devices like you would have at home is just not usually going to be there for you. So
plus the campgrounds frown upon streaming, and some of them actually will block places like Netflix and stuff,
and there's good reason for that. I mean, streaming takes a lot of bandwidth, and parks, a lot of the rural parks are limited in the amount of the bandwidth they can actually bring into the park. And then you bring that in, say you only get 50 megs, which might not be a lot, and actually is not a lot when you're trying to run an RV park with it. And then you have to have 200 campsites, and you got people who bring devices, phones, tablets, whatever, computers, and they want to do things. Right now I'm streaming this off of AT&T, just so you're aware. But it could very well be Verizon, but out where I am currently, I get a better AT&T signal going out than I do Verizon.
Because we're surrounded by cornfields, and we're more rural where we are, so yeah, AT&T's better here.
Where are we here?
Now John wants to know about water tanks. He's new to full-time RV living and not sure what to do with the water tank. Living mostly in resort, traveling seldom. Should water tank be kept empty or half full with bleach? That's hard.
It all depends on how you use it. Now, we use our tanks on and off, even if we're plugged into a park, because sometimes the park water pressure is not that great. So we'll turn on our pump, and which will then pull from the tank and pull from the water supply of the park at the same time. So we always, I shouldn't say always, we tend to use our tank even if we're at a park sometimes because of water pressure concerns.
And just try to keep the water flowing too, and so it doesn't sit stale and stagnant.
And just with that said, we've been doing this since 2008. Just this season was the first time we ever bleached our tank. Seriously. That was the only. Yeah, it's the only thing. Because we sat so long, you had said, you think we should do something? And I said, sure, why not? So we ended up filling the tank with bleach. Well, not bleach, a mixture.
Yeah, but since 2008, we've had two coaches. Our first one and then this one. But also, we weren't traveling full time either in our 2008 Tourmaster.
No, we weren't.
It doesn't really make a difference.
No,
but
we in that case, when we would store the motor coach. I should probably switch cameras. It's camera views. In that case, when we're storing the motor coach, we would winterize the RV. So at that point, you're basically putting a little bit of water in there with antifreeze or
the RV friendly.
Yeah, exactly, and store the RV that way. But we're usually using our tank all the time for the most part, so we're not concerned over microbacterial concerns. And even if we were, all of our drinking water, all of it goes through a filtration system, a purification system. So it's not just a regular water filter, sediment filter, carbon filter. It's a total purifier. So all of our water that we drink and that our cats drink and that runs through the refrigerator is all purified water. So we're not, and then it will do viruses and bacteria and what have you. So we're not too concerned.
Well, and that's one of the big things on the road is a lot of people don't really think about their water source. So I'm glad you asked that question because the water varies greatly around the country, and one of the basic things you should have is some kind of filtration system.
Very important to have filtration on your motorhome.
But there's been places we've been, like down in Arizona, where the water is very hard and has lots of minerals in the water, that it's not fit for human consumption. And they actually say that when you check into the RV campground and everything. So you need to be aware of where you're traveling and if you can actually drink that water. And for us, well, I was just going to say we don't like to buy bottled water as David's drinking a bottled water. But we do that. We have bottled water sometimes when we're here at our bot lot, at our seasonal site for when we're working outside. And it's just easier to hand bottled water to workers and stuff.
And in this particular case, I had to grab something because we just did this on a whim, guys. You saw the title. We're bored, and so we're just kind of chatting with people. And we appreciate there's 66 of you out there right now. So hello to everyone around the world, and I do mean that. There's a lot of people from all overseas and stuff, which is kind of cool to know we have followers over there.
Lawrence wants to know what was the cost
I see that
when
one,
we switched over from New York to Florida, and that's
minimal.
It was very minimal, actually. We did this back in 2013. We became full-timers, so that's when we became Florida residents. I don't recall the exact costs, but we did choose Florida as our domicile state because the costs were so low. That was basically it. It was very easy through St. Brendan's Isle and their little DMV there. We walked in. Oh my God, being in New York, we sit at the DMV for, 2-3 hours sometimes. You go to this little tiny DMV in Green Cove Springs, Florida at St. Brendan's Isle, and you're walking out with your registration, your new driver's license in your hand because they print it right there, and you're done in half an hour. And it just was amazing to us. But the cost was minimal. That's one of the things we didn't do a blog post on, but it's different for everybody.
Well, yeah, you can't do a blog post on it. We try not to do blog posts on things that are...
It varies too much.
That's going to only qualify for a few people. We try to do things that are general. Let's see here. Hi from Maryland.
Michelle is saying hello from Maryland. They're just going to be getting their fire suppression system installed.
Yay!
So that's good.
We got another video coming up at probably by the end of this week, a blog post on that relates to fires and detection. It's nothing new, but it's kind of a cool way to think about it. So we'll be posting that this week.
Tony said he loved our last video on the water sensor.
Yeah, people don't think about little things like that.
And
that's okay. And I fully admit the water sensor being $100 is not cheap, but it is Wi-Fi enabled, which is what I like. And it will alert us even if we're not at the coach that there's a water issue.
Yeah. And he's asking if we're going to be doing a video on the maintenance on filters and softeners and all of that.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. I mean, I could, but if you don't know how to unscrew a water filter canister and put a new one in, I don't know what else I can show you.
And everybody's coach varies with how it's going to be mounted, where it's going to be.
But even that, it's still the same premise of unscrewing a filter and putting it back in.
Yeah.
I mean, so
take the filter out and put the new one in.
I mean, we try not to. I mean, to me, that's a really general kind of a thing. So I'm not sure we would take the time to do a video. One of the things I have started doing lately in regards to the softener, though, is we have the on-the-go water softener kit, and the on-the-go kit requires you when your softener gets low to pull the tank out, open up the top of the tank, pour 2 big canisters of salt into it, and then run water slowly through it for a half hour. Well, I got tired of pulling that tank out and opening it up and everything, so what I've recently done is using quick connects, I added a 3rd cartridge, which is a filter cartridge, and instead of putting filters in it, I put the big home version of the salt pellets, and I put it 3/4 of the way up in that canister, and I put that in line, so basically the water comes out of the filters, goes through the salt, and then creates brine and goes into the softener, which then breaks it up. Any case, and what I do when I run that water is I tilt that filter upside down, so the salt has to go through it. So that, I mean, if I do a video, I'll probably do it on the softener, and I can do changing your filter cartridges. And before you ask, how often do you change those? It all depends on, again, where you are in the country.
In Arizona, you're probably changing them every, 2 weeks? I don't know. It's really bad out there.
Okay.
Different subject. Mark is asking, have we ever had any security issues while on the road, or at least uncomfortable? Have we become uncomfortable? And the only things I can think of is we've never really had any security issues.
No.
But there's been we overnight, when we're traveling, we overnight in Walmart parking lots, which is a great resource for RVers as long as we don't abuse it. But we have pulled into a couple of Walmarts where we just didn't feel comfortable, and we pulled out. As simple as that.
And that's happened very rarely, actually. As Brenda said, only a couple times we've done that, that we've pulled out of a place.
Since the whole time we've been traveling.
And I think we've done it in one RV park. out of the whole time we've been traveling. And let me tell you, we've been to some pretty interesting places, I'll tell you. But for overall, we've done it in the RV park. I think we've actually pulled out of one RV park in all these years. But we do pretty good research when we're researching RV parks. It's just that sometimes you're in a pinch and you're trying to go somewhere, and so you need a place to stay, and you grab an RV park, and it turns out that the reviews or whatever are not the actual reviews, and you know how it goes. Okay.
Paul loves the Simple Chuck. He just commented on your blog post and bought one and loved it.
Kevin Latour, I don't know what you. I'm sorry, I don't really know what you're referring to. Does it work outside the coach at all? I'm not sure if you're referring to Wi-Fi or what. But my Wi-Fi, the equipment I use, I can go a good distance away from my coach and still have my local Wi-Fi. So if that's not what you're referring to, please repost another message. Thank you.
Yeah, I see. Michael already commented on Jeff's question about where you could run your internal cables to outside to hide the cables, and did you get schematics from the manufacturing and stuff?
In regards to what? What were you referring to? I have no
cables.
idea what it's.
Jeff says, how did you find out where you could run your internal cables to outside and hide the cables inside the motor coach? I don't know what cables he's talking about. But
yeah, I don't know either.
There's no schematics.
Yeah, we kind of, if I'm running the length of the coach, I'm going to use my air conditioning ducts that run the length of the coach and just run a line right that way. But anyways, I wasn't sure what you were referring to, so I apologize.
Board bubblers. Hello to the board bubblers.
Yeah.
Let's start the rebellion.
Well, like I said, we're out. It's not good weather outside. We decided to just go live and see what happens. So, hey, you get us live, and this is what's happening.
Well, Susan says our volume's really low, and she's at full volume. It's hard to hear us.
Michael mentioned that I can turn it up, which I did a little bit, and that can be your PC. I actually, looking at my meters here, my meters tell me that we are at a good volume level, so I can't tell you for the most part.
Lisa wants to know, hello from North Dakota. With the extreme temperature differences, have you experienced condensation in the coach? I wouldn't say we've experienced condensation, but we have had, like on cool nights when we wake up in the morning, there's some moisture on the windshield on the inside.
Yeah, and that's a dew point humidity thing. And what you normally do in that particular case, Lisa, is you open up a vent and you just leave it open overnight. Yeah, you're going to lose some heat, but big deal.
You just crack it a little bit.
Yeah, you just crack the vent a little bit and leave it open, and basically that's going to let your moisture get out of the coach.
You don't even need the fan on.
Yeah, and the reason that's happening is because your moisture is being locked into the coach, and of course it's going to touch the cold. The window's going to become colder, and the moisture from the warm air in the coach has to do something, and it's going to basically condensate on the window, and that's what you're getting at one of the coldest points of the motorhome is your front window. So just leave the vent open, let that humidity go out, and you'll be better off.
Corey wants to know, how many miles do we get on a full tank of gas?
It all depends on the territory, the terrain, what you're doing, but on average...
And what you're pulling.
Yeah, and what you're pulling and what you're loaded with. Are you taking a full... Everything. There's so much that goes into those variables. But on average, we do about 7.8 miles to the gallon.
Yes. Whisper decided to join us, by the way.
Oh, Whisper. Hey, Whisper's here.
He's our 19-year-old boy, so... He still likes to join in upon occasion on podcasts and stuff.
I just went over to Whisper.
Okay. Are there any places you can't go based on the size of your coach? Oops.
He's going to walk right in front of the camera now. Hey, it's live. It's right. It's live. But he's going to want to lay over there, I think. Whisper.
Come
hey,
here,
buddy.
Whisper. Come lay on your pillow.
Come on, buddy. Live TV. Woo. We did a whole video on his 40... If you go to if you're on our YouTube channel now, you can just do a lookup of our videos. Is a 40 plus foot motor coach too big? And we did a whole talk on that.
Now you're coming back?
We don't find it too big. It all depends on what it all depends on your needs and what you want to do.
Yeah.
So no, we don't. To us, we wouldn't be without a larger coach.
We haven't been anywhere where we haven't been able to find a place to park. And that was basically the gist of the blog post. There's always some place you can find.
Somebody asked about the Nuvo system for softening your water without using salt. No, I have not looked into Nuvo. A lot of people use RO water too. They make RO water, which is a soft water also, because it gets rid of the minerals in the water. So that's another way to go. And in fact, Michael put in a whole reverse osmosis water system in his motor coach. So all the water that he uses all the time is done by RO water. So he uses his full-size water tank and replenishes that constantly. With fresh RO water. As they use it, he's got it all set up so it automatically turns on and makes some more RO water and goes through, which of course then requires, he doesn't need a softener for the most part if you're using your RO water.
How much water do we travel with, or do we fill up when we get to our destination?
It depends on, once again, what you're doing. Normally we run our coach with 30% water on board by our meter. And that's only because if we get stuck somewhere, traffic, breakdown, anything like that, we want to have water. We want to have some water in our tank because you never know what's going to happen. And that has happened.
Yeah.
We've had engine issues and had to go park and stay at a place, and we had to rely on the water that we had. So we usually travel with about 30%. Yeah, I know it adds weight, which of course kills your gas mileage and stuff like that, but it's not like we're running a full tank of water. So
I'd say the only time we really fill it all the way up to the brim is when we know we're going to be boondocking, like in Quartzsite, Arizona. That's the only time I think we really fill it up full.
Yeah. Ken Daly asked, any suggestions on where to weigh your new bus?
Yeah.
Well, what you really want to do, Ken, is you want to join us at Uberfest in January, and you'll be... because what we do is we have a guy come in that actually does a full weighing system, point to point on your motorhome. But short of that, if you can't get per tire weights, and I'm talking front left, front right, tag axle left and right, and drive left and right, the only thing you really can do in that case is go to Flying J or Pilot,
the truck stops,
and they have CAT scales, and you can get an overall weight of your front and your back, an overall and a front and a back weight. You can't get individual tires to know your balance and what have you, but you can get a really good generalization of what you're doing.
You do want to take your tow vehicle off when you do that, though, because your tow vehicle, what did we find out? It pulls down on the tongue, right?
Yeah, one of the mistakes we made is when in our younger days...
When we first started RVing, we're like, ooh, let's weigh the coach.
Yeah. I kind of freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, look at how much we're overweight on the back of the coach. It was like 3,000 pounds. We're like, oh my God. And what had happened is you got the tow vehicle...
Then we thought about it.
Yeah, you got the tow vehicle hooked up, and we went up on the scale, and the tow vehicle's got that incline behind her, so it's pulling down on the motor coach. So basically we're taking 3,000 pounds of a 5,500, 6,000 pound vehicle tongue weight, adding it to the coach. Yeah, so anyways, disconnect. If you go to a CAT scale or whatever, please remember to disconnect your tow vehicle.
Well, and that's something you learn
from
other RVers or over time.
Like you just did.
We didn't think about it.
We didn't.
We just jumped on the scale and then freaked out a little, and that was it. Then we thought about it. Oh.
Hi from the UK. Man, I got to figure out where we are in this list.
Do you have a video on your drinking water purification system?
No. Other than the one I just did, no.
We do have on our blog, though, we have a recommended items page, and all the filters and the filtration system and everything is up there of what we use. Sorry,
I didn't realize I had it on just me. I didn't have a wide view there. Sorry. Basically, all we have for our system is very simplistic. Well, for the most part, water comes in from the tap. It goes through a sediment filter. Then it goes through a carbon block filter. And then it goes into the water softener. And then that feeds the entire coach. So showers and washing and everything is from that. However, we then have a water purifier, which does viruses, bacteria, and everything else that only is for our drinking water sources. So that is, there's a spigot over on our sink, and it is also plumbed into our refrigerator. So that's where all our drinking water comes. And if you look at a bottle of water, it's either reverse RO water in the bottle or it's purified water. And so we're using a purification filtration system, which is just small. They're $100 a cartridge, but they last a long time.
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, we just changed it out, and it's been like a year, because it depends on how much water you go through. Is all.
Barry says we're getting Samsung 360 camera.
Oh, Barney. Yes.
Barney. Sorry. Yeah.
How has your setup been doing for you?
We don't use Samsung products. We do 360s on occasion, but since I got this streaming camera, it's a lot easier for us to go live just by pushing a button on this streaming camera than it is to set this up. This is what we use, which is actually a really good camera. It's Insta 360, and basically it just plugs onto my cell phone USB port, and that's how we do 360. So we don't use Samsung gear.
You did a blog post on that, right?
I don't know if I did a blog post on it.
You did something on it.
Yeah, when we decided to start going 360, I think we did something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Karen from Phoenix says...
Hello to UK. I saw that. Got a lot of people overseas. You're not alone.
Karen from Phoenix wants to know any idea why RVs no longer have propane ovens, and how good are the convection microwaves? That's
just the reason for it. That propane is I don't want to say old tech. That's not the right word.
There are some new coaches out there that still have the propane ovens though.
Yeah, but they're more and more. She is correct. They're more and more rare.
Yeah.
Propane ovens in general were just harder to cook in because you had to do certain things. There's tricks to those too, because the temperature using propane versus the BTU's difference is quite different, and how you cook is different with propane. It sounds weird because you're thinking fire is fire, but in a small little oven like that, like for example, if you don't take yourself like a pizza baking stone and put it in the bottom of the oven, then you're going to get inconsistent cooking. And what the pizza stone does basically is that pizza stone heats up and actually distributes the heat better. So it's tricks like that make a difference. Convection ovens, like the one in the back up here, they're used all the times now. I don't know of anybody who probably doesn't have a convection oven in their house for the most part.
Yeah.
And all it is it's a heating element it's an electrical heating element. So those have been around for years and years.
I like using it. It cooks a lot more evenly, and circulates the air because that's the convection part, and it makes everything even.
And if you don't have to carry a propane tank, why would you want to? I personally would not. Our first coach had a propane tank, and I would rather have the storage space that we gained by getting rid of the tank in this motorhome than have propane. And we truly love cooking on an induction cooktop. Induction cooktops, if it's a good one, they're a pleasure to cook on.
Yeah.
So we're all for an all electric coach. Let's see here.
Oh, Jeff is...
Whispers back.
Come here, Whisper. You gotta go down here. There you go.
Oh, I see, Jeff. Cables were for the antennas and stuff. Yeah. I just like I thought, we would run them. We would run them like there's an access point right up there. I don't know if that's seeable. Yeah, you can see that. There's an access point.
Right next to our vent cover.
There's an access point right here, Jeff. And that cable comes from the front of our coach, and it runs right down this air duct right here. And then I punched it through into the vent casing, and then just came out a little tip of black. I don't know if you can see it, but that's basically I just use the AC ducts to run cabling. And people get really nervous about popping through a roof. I have no qualms whatsoever about popping a hole in a roof to put a cable in, because that's where die-core comes in. You can seal anything with die-core.
Yes. Somebody says, thanks for the Ubiquity video.
You're welcome.
We got it up and running without any problems. Okay. Greatly improved their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that video has helped, so I'm glad that worked out for you.
My screen keeps jumping to the bottom, so I have to keep scrolling back up. Oh, Whisper.
Yeah, I saw the same thing.
Yeah, now BK needs to come say hi. Yeah, Beverly, you know that won't happen. BK is sleeping somewhere and he'll stay there until dinner time.
Do you think one person can handle a 45-foot motor coach or similar to you guys set up? One person? Sure. It doesn't take two people to run a motor coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know a number of people that are single coach owners that, for one reason or another, partner passed away or what have you, that still choose to
live in the big coach.
Yeah, to still travel and what have you. There are things that take a little bit more time with one person versus two, like hooking up a car, for example. But otherwise, sure, there's no reason you can't do it. You can't run a 45-foot motor coach. It's no different running a 45-foot motor coach, except for the length, mind you, than it is running a 30-foot motor coach. You still have to do the same type of things to drive it and to set it up. Why are people talking back and this is kind of...
Oh, they're talking water filters and stuff.
I recently took delivery of a 45-foot Renegade.
Went to an RV resort.
Informed me that I could not stay. Don't know why. You didn't stay why you couldn't stay, but I would find that really weird.
Have we ever been to the RTR?
No idea what the RTR is.
I'm not sure what the RTR is, so I can't answer that.
Let's see here. Oh, they said because they only were allowed Class A motor coaches. Yeah, there are a lot of Class A motor coach resorts. So, yeah, as far as getting it to change, no, people do their own thing. If they only want to allow Class A motor coaches in their park, they have the right to allow only Class A motor coaches in their park. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people that like that. A lot of Class A motor coach owners really do like having parks that are Class A coach only. So I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Hello from the Netherlands, Holland.
Hey!
They like watching our movies.
Another person asked, what kind of license do you need? That varies state by state. The type of license you need to drive a motor coach based on the state you live in. So you just have to check your state.
It's important to check your state because every state's different. When we were New York residents, we had different restrictions versus now that we're Florida residents.
Michael, you're confusing me when you answer questions for people because I'm trying to follow the chat session here. Good afternoon. Recommendation on Wi-Fi and mobile communications extenders. We've covered that vastly on our OutsiderBubble.com website. You can find information all over the place on that. One of the best sources for information on mobile communications is Technomania. They have RVMobileInternet.com. Oh, yeah. They're a great website, and they are the most up-to-date on plans and features and things like that.
Yeah, they have a lot of information up there. Oh, now I just lost my place.
Yeah, it's... Another person said we have WeBoost and it never worked right. Not sure what we've done wrong. Yeah, make sure. Somebody already asked this question earlier in the video. I can always refer you to go back to the video if we decide to publish it. But more or less, unless you have a good outside signal, you can't bring that signal inside to amplify it. So it all starts with an external antenna. If you do not have a good external antenna, then you cannot amplify what you cannot receive. So that's Susan, that's your biggest thing is you have to make sure you have the right antenna on the outside of the motor coach. If you don't have one on the outside of the motor coach, then you're really not starting off in a good place.
John wants to know if we've ever stayed at Aztec RV Resort in Margate, Florida. No, we have not. So I can't recommend any place in the Arizona area because we've never been to that Florida resort, unfortunately. Sounds nice, though. Maybe we'll look it up if we're ever in that area.
Whisper, hey, kitty, kitty.
Hello from Sweden. With slide-outs, do you lose more heat than a motorhome without slide-outs in colder climates?
I would imagine. There's a possibility of that because you are relying on your seals that are on the coach. I can tell you for one thing for sure, the coach that we have there's gaps in the seals of this motor coach. I know that because I can see light through the dang slide out sides in the corners. And so what I did, because I knew we were going to be parked here for a long time, is I get a can of Great Stuff, and when we get somewhere that we're going to be for a long period of time, I'll actually shoot Great Stuff right there in the corners to seal that more. And then when we go bring the slides in, the Great Stuff will just crack away. I'm not worried about it. It's not going to prevent us from moving the slide. Don't overdo it. Oh my gosh. Or use foam and put foam in there. But I don't know if Class A motor coaches, they're gonna have drafts and leaks, and it all depends on the seal of the motor coach and how well it's built. But if you have a slide out versus no slide out's going to win because there's less chance of all things being equal, slide out versus no slide out. No slide out will win in heat retention because there's no chance of a gap with a seal.
Mark wants to know, how often do you need to replace the die core?
That all depends on your location again. If you're out in Arizona living all the time with the hot weather, it's gonna dry that die core out much faster over time. Die core, for the most part, does remain pliable through the life of its product. What you do is you go up and you look for cracks or splits or anything like that where it might have separated, and then you just reapply over the top. Or if it's really, really bad, you just scrape that sucker off and you just put some more. Die core is great stuff. I haven't had to touch any of the seals on this coach. This is a 2014, once again, based on environment that you're in.
Okay. Corey wants to know, if I drive...
Whisper. You can't sit there. You can't sit in front of the camera, buddy.
If I drive the coach, they have a 35-foot, and he can't convince his wife to drive so they can extend their driving range when needed. Yes, I do drive it. David and I share driving, and for us, we find it's very important for both people to know how to drive it. Not only to drive it, but know how to hook up, know how to unhook, do everything. We've run into too many people on the road where one part of the couple doesn't want to drive or has no desire to drive, and something happens. There was a gentleman we ran into. He broke his driving leg. He couldn't physically drive, but they could move and go to another state if they wanted to.
And that was a rule, by the way. When we set out back in 2008, I said to Brenda, I said, you're going to learn to drive the coach. That's the only way we'll do this. And she was apprehensive. And how we did it, though, is...
Well, you were apprehensive when you started driving,
yes,
too.
You're 100% correct. You are correct. I also was apprehensive. How can you not be? They're big vehicles. They're intimidating. If anybody says they were not intimidated the first time they drove the motor coach, they're lying. I don't care. That's how I feel. But how Brenda learned to drive it is she went rest stop to rest stop. So to get comfortable. So basically I would pull off at a rest stop. She would take over and drive to the next rest stop. And
it's easy on,
easy off. And then all she has to deal with is changing lanes or what have you. But she got used to the motor coach that way.
Now for both of us, it's just like getting in our car and driving. We just do it. It's just secondhand to us now. But yeah, there's too many people that just get stuck in one place because something happens physically or whatever to another person, and they can't go anywhere because they don't know how to drive it.
Somebody mentioned that we don't have an issue finding a spot when we travel. What do you do when RV parks are always booked up? What do you do? Well, you hopefully have one of those bookings. If you're going, it all comes down to, you have to have some common sense when you do this stuff. So if you know you're going to be traveling during a holiday season, for example, you have to plan ahead. You have to book ahead. You can't just wing it.
Location's important too.
Location, where you're going to be, and and also holiday time, obviously. But those things make a difference, and your bookings and your success of getting a booking. When we travel, like right now we know where we're gonna go. When we leave here, we're gonna go to Burleson, Texas, and we don't have anywhere booked between here and Burleson. We'll just stop at Walmart's, and but we do know we have a place when we get to Burleson because we wanted to make sure. Because we're going to be there for a little while.
Yeah. And a lot of the prime places, like if you plan on going to Key West, don't try and make reservations 2 weeks in advance. You're going to need reservations much further in advance because it's a very popular place to go. So that's location.
Daryl happened to mention here that really hope to see more of your drone footage. Yeah, so would I, Daryl. I haven't flown in a long time, and I'll tell you why. There used to be a time when what I did was unique, and it was great to be able to do things that other people couldn't do. The footage and the editing and what have you. And now, because you can walk into any store, Walmart, whatever, and buy a drone, it just kind of killed it for me. I just now people become annoyed by drones. They're too prevalent out there, and a lot of the footage that's being released online is, in my opinion, is just crap. I mean, the videos have gotten much better over time, but people don't take the time to edit them and make them nice like they should. They just throw them online, and it's I don't know. It's taken the excitement away from me. What I really get into is editing that video footage and having a good time editing it and making it nice for viewing. And like here this weekend at the park, there was 5 people flying drones. It did get annoying. I mean, so I don't want to be one of those people that are doing the annoying. So the next time we fly drones is when we're out traveling and we're out hiking and we're out in the middle of vast lands or something like that. That's when I'll probably, bring my little Mavic with me. But other than that, I've really gotten discouraged based on the sheer volume of people with drones. Anyways, sorry to ramble on that.
How long is the longest we've usually stay at one location typically?
Here is the longest we stay. Here.
This is our seasonal site.
Yeah, this is our seasonal site. This is where our family and friends are from, up in this area, Rochester, New York area. And so we come in April and we leave in October. But we also use this, since it's our own seasonal site, here comes Whisper. He's going to sit in front of the camera. Keep going.
He's
there you
going
go.
to the pillow.
Okay. Since it's our own seasonal site, we go and come as we please from this site. So we may head up to Vermont like we did with our friends, the Andrews, one time, or we may, go to Maine or something like that. So we still can travel. But usually, well,
it depends on the location, too. If there's a lot to do in the area, we might stay a month. If we're just passing through, we might stay just 2 days just to relax.
How often do we both drive? That all depends on how we feel. Brenda has driven 4 hours straight, I think at one point, just because, I'm fine, I don't need anything, and she's just happy just sitting there and driving along. But normally...
I was going to sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it depends on if it's really windy or how the day is going, too.
Rain and wind, she hates, let me tell you. And she always is the lucky one. Whenever we switch driving, she seems to get the construction.
Yeah. I think he plans it that way.
And Brenda's not afraid to I hate to say this, tick people off. If she's going through a construction zone...
If you're behind me, I do not apologize.
She does not. If we're going through a construction zone and that's a really tight lanes because they had to restrict it a lot because they needed to get, the space to work, she'll take both. If it's 2 lanes and she doesn't feel comfortable because the lanes are too tight, she'll take both lanes.
I'd rather be safe and get the people ticked off behind me than
for a short period of time.
For a short period of time than being in an unsafe situation. That's all.
And we've had situations where you're in a construction zone and all of a sudden, man, it gets really tight really fast, and it's not a good experience.
David wants to know what kind of camera we're using. The picture is very good.
This is our new streaming camera. It's made just for streaming. It's called the Movi. Mevo, excuse me. MEVO. Getmevo.com. It's really cool. I'm not going to get into all the features. It's a very good camera. You're correct. It is.
And we just got it not that long ago, so we're still playing around with it too. Yeah.
And what you're seeing of the changing of what seems to be changing of camera views is actually the app that I have in front of me here running the camera. It's actually a 4K camera, but since I'm transmitting currently in 720p, I can actually zoom in on things and not lose any quality because we're transmitting at a much lower resolution than the camera than the 4K camera, which allows us to then make it look like multiple camera views. I can do pans.
Now he's going to get
now I'm
very
going to do it.
artsy.
Now you're going to see it. Yeah. So you'll see a pan happen. You saw that, yeah. And I can switch back to Brenda and her smiling face. and adjust the camera on the fly. And you can actually direct, so, and pre-programmed shots, things like that. But anyways, the Mevo, M-E-V-O.
Mark wants to know, have we had any experience with AquaHot or similar? Is it better than a furnace?
Oh, yeah, we would not be without our AquaHot.
Our first coach, again, was a Gulfstream Tourmaster. We had a furnace, and it was okay, but we had been in cold weather where we needed to, what did we have, the oil heater? The radiant heater.
What?
The oil radiant heater, because our furnace wouldn't keep up with the cold weather.
A regular plug-in-the-wall heater we would have.
Yeah, because our furnace couldn't keep up. But the AquaHot, we love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It does our hot water and our heat, and the neat thing about it, which is nice, again, another value over propane. When you're using a propane heater, you're actually putting condensation into the air, moisture into the air from the propane. And when you're using an AquaHot system, it's forced air, so you're not adding anything to it. So it's just blowing across. It's blowing across.
A fan?
No, the fan is blowing across. I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize.
I can't help him here because I don't know that system very well.
No, it's basically coils. Water passes. Heated antifreeze passes through it, and you blow the air across that, and
like a boiler.
It picks up the hair from that, and off it goes. Any case.
Anyway, Tony wants to know if we took any motorhome driving courses.
Nope.
No. Well, I do have to say, when we first had our first coach, the 2008 Tourmaster, we did go to a Gulfstream rally in Goshen, Indiana. And they did have a driver's course for women. And I took it, but it was just like around the parking lot. It wasn't anything super special. But they gave me a little more confidence, but that was basically it. It was just a very, very basic.
Heat exchanger. Thank you, Jeff. Heat exchanger. I never had driving lessons. I just kind of went and did it.
Yeah.
So how long have we been broadcasting? I have no idea.
I don't know, but we have 92 people watching.
Oh, hello, everybody. We were really, really
bored. I think
bored.
we've been going about an hour because I think it was about 20 after 2.
Somebody retracted a message. Oh, no. What did they say? Yeah. Great idea. Do you take driving courses? That's where I am. I'm still trying to catch up to the notes here.
I know. People are talking about how they need to convince their wives to learn how to get comfortable driving.
They have to. Please, 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 please. We recently had an Ubi who we never met before visited us up here, and unfortunately, there was a turn of events with her husband, and she had never really driven the coach before, and she was forced to have to drive the coach. And I was lucky enough that she was here where I can help her, give her some viewpoints, driving points. We did practice backing up and things like that, and I was very proud of her when she left here and that she made it all the way back to where they were going without any incident. So
yes.
Very, very proud of her for that. And but that's the importance of having both of you need to learn to drive.
Somebody wants to know if there's any company out there that builds, I think they mean handicap buses. I think there is, but we've never really looked into it. Yeah. I know I've seen
lifts,
to get wheelchairs in and out. So I would imagine there's somewhere out there a company that does it.
Start the Rebellion. You only use a drone now for establishing shots. Yes, I've done the same in some of these recent videos. I have like the pressure washer and stuff like that. I do cover shots. But again, it's very few and far between, unfortunately. You remember you looked at a Newmar and TIFF, and I know both are great companies, but Newmar seems to be much more expensive for comparable features. I don't know. I never found it to be much more expensive. I found it to be very competitive in pricing. And the features seem to be more or less the same. It just came down to build quality and the feel we had. Oh, the floor plan. The floor plan was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel the accelerator in your coach is comfortable? She can answer that, but our motor coach, I don't know if yours does or not, we can move the foot pedals in and out.
Well, he says here she thinks that the accelerator is too far to the right for her comfort.
Now
I don't know what to say about that. I mean, ours is comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you have to get used to, the positioning of the foot pedals, I guess.
Yeah, just like driving a different car or whatever. I mean, things are going to be a little different, but...
I hope we can catch up to these questions. I'm not sure if we can. When you're traveling your bus, rules stick to the trucker's atlas. Yeah. Ken asks, when traveling with our bus...
I just saw that.
Yeah. Do you, as a rule, stick to the trucker atlas? Not as a rule. However, Brenda does most of the planning of the travel in regards to the route and stuff like that. And she always refers to the trucker atlas if it's an area we've never been into before or a road we've never been on. She does refer to that. We don't always stick to it because sometimes you can't. Sometimes places take you areas where it might not be documented or what have you, so you're kind of stuck there. But she always does refer, even Google Maps, doesn't have that. And even you can't count on these new GPSs, the RV or the trucker GPSs, because they make mistakes too in their database. It's all database driven. You're only as good as the data you have. So Brenda does look at that because, and once again, it might not be up to date, but at least it's another avenue to check.
Yeah, there's several sources. You don't just rely on one source.
Yeah.
So you just need to plot your course along several sources. And for something like us with, we're 45 feet towing our Jeep, we're even longer, we try to stick to the main highways. But when you get into cities and stuff, it's more difficult.
Mark Jones, I'm not sure about your question. How many miles per year do you drive, and how long do you think you might need a replacement? I'm not sure on that part.
Replacement...
Coach?
Tires?
Once again, driving per year, it all depends on what we're going to do. We usually cross the country at least once a year, go back and forth, but we've been known to go back and forth 3 times. It all depends on what we're looking to do there, John, or Mark, excuse me.
Heat exchanger.
Yeah, that was earlier.
Yeah. Drone footage.
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. I do appreciate that. I have been very proud of my drone footage. In fact, some of my footage has been used in visitor centers of national parks and state parks.
Tony, they said that they're deciding if they need to make the decision when they get a motorhome if they need to do a driving course, and it certainly
it's not going to hurt.
Help.
It's definitely not going to hurt.
And there are places out there that offer it. It's not going to hurt at all, and they might have some good pointers for you that you might not have thought of.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, Barry, I understand about that. I personal perspective, and I do miss using the drone. I really do. That's one of the reasons I bought the Mavic, is because it's small, quick, and quick to deploy and what have you. I just have gotten fed up, literally, by the overuse, or not overuse, but how some people, overuse. You can buy them anywhere, and now people are annoying people, so when you break it out, you get these looks. I mean, I've been flying drones before anybody knew what they were, when you actually had to build them yourself, which I did.
From China, because you couldn't get them
You couldn't
here.
get the parts here. Everything had to be ordered in, and you build them yourself, and you learn to program them and everything. That's how far back I go with drones. And now, to me, it's just, it hurts. Anyways.
Somebody wants to know what happened to our 360 camera, and do we still use it?
Nothing happened to it. We talked, actually, somebody asked about that earlier in the program, and we still have it. It's right here, right next to me. See? Right here. And it goes on top of my cell phone. We just haven't found we found one thing is we confused a lot of people.
Yeah, some people didn't realize that you could scroll the screen or move the screen, and it was actually 360.
Yeah, and a lot of people for some reason got confused, because 360, for the most part, let's face it, 360 viewing on cell phones and tablets and what have you is still, as long as it's been out, it's still relatively new, and people don't quite understand it. So when they come across a 360-degree video, they can get confused if all of a sudden they're watching our show and they happen to turn and wait, why are they off camera? I mean, it happens, and we had a lot of write-ins about that. Maybe we should start using them. We'll try to do some 360 videos. Those were fun around the campfire and stuff. Those were fun.
Yeah. Somebody asked if we've ever been to the up of Michigan.
Tried to.
We tried to. We didn't plan that far ahead, so as you know, a lot of the campgrounds are fully booked. I guess we kind of did get a little bit there. We got all the way to Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, as far as we got.
So that's as far as we got, and that was a fun campground run by the county that was right there with the freighters going by. We did a blog post on it. That was really cool.
Have you ever traveled in an RV in another country? No, we have not. I think
Canada counts.
Yes, he does. It does. But I believe he means overseas, that we go overseas and rent an RV. And I didn't mean to assume that you were a gentleman. Could be Carol for all I know. Any case, no, we have not. We've traveled in other countries, only Canada, and briefly in. No, we haven't.
We have not gone to Mexico in the motorhome.
Even though we've tried to several times, planned to do so, we just haven't done it.
We walked across to Mexico.
Yeah, we did that.
Not in the motorhome.
We also took a rowboat across to Mexico.
Rowboat.
We did.
Oh, yes. Check out that blog post. That was fun. That was in Big Bend National Park.
Took a rowboat.
That's a unique experience
and it's
if you're
legal.
ever in that area.
There's a border crossing right there, and literally you get in a rowboat and they row you across the Rio Grande River to Mexico.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Where's our next destination? King Riviera. From here, we're leaving sometime, maybe on Monday, maybe not.
You know, we've always said that. Go ahead. I know you're going to say it.
We're going to Burleson, Texas, is where we're going next. And in case that's what you asked.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're thinking we're leaving a week from today, next Monday. But as we always say, we make our plans in Jell-O.
Yeah, we make our plans in Jell-O.
Things happen. You never know what's going to happen. You know, if one of us gets the flu, I'm not going to want to travel. If we get the flu, we might want to hang out a couple days. You just never know.
And Kevin Turner, no, we do not always follow the trucker routes. No, we do not always follow the trucker routes. We prefer them. I mean, if there's a trucker route versus a non-trucker route going to the same place, we'll always take the trucker route.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if going through a city or something, you see the signs for trucker routes.
Yes, we do those.
Yes. You follow those. I think that's
well, he also asked about the
Atlas.
So,
yeah.
But Brenda's correct. If we're driving, coming up to something and there's a truck route, there's a sign for truck route, yes. Always take the truck route.
Yes. There's a reason for that. Low bridges, whatever. You don't want to get stuck.
Do you communicate with other RVers, truckers, etc. while you're on the road? No, we do not. We do not communicate with others on the road. We just talk to each other. As much as that is fun. Only kidding. No, we don't. We don't CB. We don't. Others do. Other people do. If we're caravanning, if we're doing a caravan, that's the only time we do, and we use radios for that, which are tuned to certain frequencies and certain channels for us only, and that's the only time we really talk to others as we travel. Now, I have been known to pull out a handheld CB if we're stuck in traffic. If there's a traffic jam and the other side is moving and we're not, I will pull out a handheld CB, which is next to the driver's chair, and tune it to see what the truckers are saying. But that's about the extent of that.
Yeah, just to see. A lot of the times the truckers will say, just a heads up, the right lane, there's an accident, so move over when you can. Something like that.
Any plans of traveling to Alaska? Yes, we'd love to, but no. If we do, we probably would not take our own personal motor coach.
Yeah, we're apprehensive about that. We have been to Alaska on cruises, which we know is not the same. We do want to go there someday in a motorhome and explore more of Alaska, but as David said...
Yeah, only because everybody we've talked to, and a lot of people have traveled to Alaska, don't get me wrong, and a lot of people say, oh, it's great, there's nothing to worry about, but the majority of the people we've talked to come back with many chips, many broken windows.
Or even friends of ours that say, yeah, you might want to rent a coach versus take your own, and that's what they ended up doing too.
What type of microphone? This is actually Michael was keyed me to this one a long time ago. This is a Blue Yeti microphone. A Blue Yeti microphone. It's a USB mic, and the microphone is being fed directly into the Mevo camera, so that's how it's wired in. Yeah, I learned about this mic a long time ago. I think, and actually, did I have this before?
You've had that for a while.
I've had it for a long time. Michael, I take that back. I don't give you credit for this one, but I do give you credit that you use the same one.
Is there any company that has drivers for rent to drive my bus?
I would imagine you can find any professional
Wouldn't that
driver.
be nice?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Take me here.
I don't know why you'd want to, but there are. I get, yeah. There's professional drivers. Sure, you can get people to do anything. I mean, I've seen people take their clothes off if I gave them $1.
Stop. Along that same thing, I'm not sure if they're referring to maybe if there was a medical reason that you needed to have a driver drive your bus. There are places, I know FMCA has a service where they will come and have a driver take your bus to wherever you need to go, take care of your pets or whatever. And there's other services out there. If that's what they were talking about, with medical.
Oh, he says mainly in a city because he doesn't want to drive in a city. Yeah, good point.
I don't want to drive in a city either.
Brian doesn't like that either. Driving in a city is not something you want to do. I have done so. It's not something I recommend. So yes, you can hire professional drivers to get you through cities.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
New York City actually might require it depending on, I don't know if that's...
Oh yeah, don't take your bus to New York City.
No.
Stay on the outside.
Somebody says there's a message held for review. What does that say? Where'd it go? Oh, it was just like characters. No idea what that is.
No, I don't know.
So we'll just remove it. Don't know what this one is either. We'll remove that. Interesting about RVing in Alaska. Fake poop. Okay, this person we're going to ban now from this point forward because they're just posting gibberish. So we're going to block the user. Sorry, Caden.
Ken wants to know, I hear Uberfest a lot. Is this something worthwhile planning a trip to?
Yes!
Yes! Now explain what Uberfest is.
Ken, it's Uberfest. I call it a joke. No, actually, that was the wrong thing to say. Excuse me. The word Uberfest, I kind of find it funny. And the reason, Uber, OOB, our main website is Outside Our Bubble, OOB. We, a couple years back, went to court. We were going to Quartzsite, which is a big gathering that happens every January in Quartzsite, Arizona. And we decided, hey, we'll let people know that we're going to be there. And if anybody wants to come join us for a few days out in the desert, dry camping, you come on down. We had 47 coaches show up.
That was the first year.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, we had 47 people show up, and that was the first year somebody walked up and said, hi, I'm one of your Ubies. And I said, excuse me? And they said, Ubi, Outside Our Bubble. We're your followers. We refer to ourselves as Ubies. We thought that was kind of funny, because I love my Ubies. So, any case...
it's just a fun way to refer to our
followers,
our blog fans.
Yeah. So Uberfest. Then the next thing they said is, and this is Uberfest, and I'm like, what? And so
it works.
It works.
It works.
So we kind of just stuck the name Uberfest, and the next year we had planned it again, and we had 100 people sign up to attend Uberfest. This year we're currently at 61 already signed up to join us in January. Yeah, in Quartzsite, Arizona, which is a big RV show. More information can be found at outsidourbubble.com, and there's a link at the top, Uberfest. You can click on that and get full information on what Uberfest is. We throw a big party and stuff for our followers. It's no cost. This year is the first year we're ever asking for a donation if you want to help contribute.
Yeah.
But last year we had a live band come in from Phoenix, and we had a party with over 200 people out in the middle of the desert. It was awesome. But we do technical talks, RV talks, and seminars, just kind of like we're doing here, but we have topics.
And we have the guy who weighs the coaches
come.
Yeah,
and we have a guy who comes in and weighs your motor coaches.
Well, that's for an additional fee that he charges for that, but it's very good to have that done.
No, Dan, we've never thought about doing that idea. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Some people do, like they do bourbon trails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, we never really created a route that has something to do with a plan like that. It's interesting though. It is interesting. The bourbon trail is one, but other than that.
Well, I know one of our friends. They're not RVers, but they like to go around to all the Major League Baseball fields. I mean, that's a big one. So that would be easy enough to do in an RV. But yeah, we just haven't done it.
No. Well, it looks like the questions are slowing down. We still have a lot of viewers out there, which is good.
Jay has a good question for you.
Let's see. Let's look at Scotty before Jay there.
Oh.
Thinking about getting a new RV, and which models are you interested in? Right now, Scotty, we are not we would be interested in another RV, possibly, only for the new tech that are in them, but only if a manufacturer comes up with a floor plan that we like more than the one we have now. And as of now, there are no manufacturers that have a floor plan that we like better currently than.
Yeah.
Floor plan is all personal taste, period. And we like this floor plan. And the only way we would right now consider a new motor coach is if we found a floor plan that we liked better, that still has features that we would want and everything also. Floor plan first, feature second. Then we would look to sell this motor coach and get a new one. So
Yeah.
we've been talking with Tiffin for a while in regards to a new floor plan. We're hoping that they're going to do a new floor plan. Remember your coach? What was this?
It was J.E.
Oh. Yes, I have a NAS, Jay. Ever since we started traveling, one of the things that I needed was always to have data for storage and what have you. And I have currently my NAS is a 20 terabyte NAS. It's a server running on a software called Unraid.
What's a NAS for people like me?
Network attached storage device.
Okay.
Network attached.
Because I could read it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Good point. NAS, NAS is network attached storage. And so mine's 20 terabytes. I haven't needed more than that, even though I could expand it at any time. So, yes.
Any problems with our slide outs leaking or not working correctly?
We have not. Of course, others have. Michael can tell you a whole story. I keep referring to Michael. Michael's a friend of ours that we met virtually online. He was a follower of ours, and we ended up meeting him and his wife and became friends. And now we're mostly virtual friends. We try to run into each other once in a while, but most of our interaction is online interaction, for the most part, texting and back and forth and everything. Because we have a lot of we have a lot of the same likes in technology and stuff. So in any case,
real quick answer to this, Ronnie asks, which coach do we have? We have a 2014 Tiffin Allegro Bus 45 LP. There, that was easy.
Yes. And then, of course, then they had a 15 45 LP, and then they stopped making the LP.
Yeah. Dave the RVer has a good question. Have we had any real problems with trolls or anyone not happy with our helpful advice?
Well, Dave, that's a good question. Actually,
It's the internet.
It's the internet. For the most part, no. For the most part, listen, Dave, one of the things that's unique about what we do versus others out there that do RV stuff is we just tell it like it is. First off, if I do a video on a product, it's only because I use that product. And why do a video on a product that I wouldn't be using myself? Well, that's because I would be doing that because somebody gave it to me to do that or paid me to do it. But every video that we've ever done has always been our personal opinion and things that we use for RVing.
And things
we bought.
Yeah, I was just going to add that.
Only one time have we gotten something that we did not purchase, and that was the fire starter. And I fully said up front that we were sent this. And
also, if you watch that video, we don't hold back whether we like it or not.
Yeah, but for the most part, we do seem to have one hater out there always. And whenever I post a YouTube video, within the first half hour, he's got to be a subscriber.
There's always a thumbs down.
Always within the first half hour, there's a thumbs down. I mean, literally.
There's always somebody.
If you don't like what we do, don't subscribe, unsubscribe. There's no reason to get a notice that we've made a post just so you can go there and click thumbs down. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but for the most part, very few. We've had a couple people say, oh, I got that product you recommended. I didn't like it too much because of this, and then found out after the fact that they weren't even using it correctly. So if you're not using something correctly, then it's not going to work for you and what have you. But anyways, we're done.
Anne made me laugh. She says, so if Tiffin does adopt your ideas for a new floor plan, will it be a 45 OOB?
No,
An
actually,
Uber floor plan.
actually, can I say it? You think?
Go ahead.
Actually, Bob Tiffin. Well, we were talking with him a couple years back. This was and we have given them a floor plan, by the way.
We've designed one. It said, "Okay, this is perfect for us."
And we feel it. To us again, floor plan is different for everybody, but we feel this would be a really nice floor plan. Any case, long story short, Bob actually said, "Oh, that would have to be the 45 DBP," and I said, "What DBP?" He goes, "Oh yeah, the David Brenda Pusher."
No, the diesel. D was for diesel, wasn't it?
But the joke was David Brenda Pusher,
Oh,
DBP.
Pusher, yes, Pusher.
Pusher,
I'm sorry.
not diesel.
I'm sorry.
You're
Yes.
confused.
Yes, I was.
So, anyways, so you're not too far off when the joke you made there. He doesn't. Bob doesn't use the internet. He just doesn't, and so he knows outside our bubble. He's heard that. He would have never heard Uber or anything like that, for far as I know. So, any case.
Kevin wants to know what newer tech in the motorhomes that are out there that would you want for an upgrade.
Most number one thing would be climate control. I can't believe in this day and age that I'm using this RV Comfort HP. Three different thermostats for 3 different zones in an RV, and every one of them is a manual control.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
This
seriously. So that to me, climate control is the biggest thing that I would like. Other than that, we've reproduced everything else through automation and what have you through Coach Proxy. So right now we're perfectly happy with this coach. Don't get me wrong, we're perfectly happy. Mm-hmm. But I'd like climate control. I do. People ask me, do I want a bigger engine? I do not want a bigger engine.
I was just going to say something.
Oh, somebody asked that?
The next question.
Oh, cool.
Is a 450 horsepower adequate for our size, or would you opt for a bigger engine?
Yeah, they do offer a 600, and I wouldn't do it. I get this question a lot. Oh my gosh, I get this question a lot. And it's $70,000 they want for this freaking upgrade of this engine. Well, if you do the math, and you could do it very simply and quickly, when we look at how we travel, we're only 5% of our travel through mountainous regions that require a lot of power to keep you at 45 miles an hour, which we usually don't drop below. Even in this coach, we don't drop below, well, let's say 40.
And we're towing our Jeep
and
Grand Cherokee.
we're towing our Jeep. And so if we're only in the mountainous regions 5% of the time, well, 2.5% of that is downhill. So it makes no sense to spend $70,000 so you can pass people going uphill to us.
You could buy a lot of diesel.
You can buy a lot of diesel fuel for that money. So yeah, I would rather burn, and not to mention the bigger engines do burn more fuel. So, I mean, they have to. The cylinder heads are bigger. Any case, so that's my take on 450 versus 600. And the reason Tiffin offers them is because other people offer them, so you have to offer them to cater to the people who want the bigger engine. And don't get me wrong, there are some people who pull very big trailers loaded with stuff. Those are the people that can be helped with a very big engine. For us, pulling our tow vehicle, which is, I'm going to say 6,000 pounds, no way would I want to spend the money.
No. On a totally different subject, Jeff says he notices that you wear a lot of cool.
That's all I wear. It's literally, I mean my pants are cool pants. I just like the brand. I mean, I don't like what they've done recently with some of their product line, but other than that, I just yeah.
They're very comfortable.
They're very comfortable.
They wear well.
Most of my other stuff are Walmart shirts. You know, there's $4, $6 T-shirts, things like that.
The work shirts.
Work shirts. But for as much as I'd like to say it, I mean, I always try to buy them on sale because they're too freaking expensive. I mean, the pants that I'm wearing, the Cool Air, they're an $80 pair of pants, and so I wait for them to go on sale for $55, $60 sometimes, which is a bargain to me because I wear them out.
He wears them every day, and they last a long time.
I have 4 different colors of the same pant just because I like the pant that much.
He just rotates colors.
What can I say? And that's one of the things they've done to upset me recently is they dropped some of their colors. So
there's a lot of people that just thank us because they like our videos and they're looking to travel in the future and we're very helpful. And
hey guys, one of the things that we've actually been considering is not doing this anymore. We've actually considered
not traveling.
No. Excuse me. Take that back. Not traveling. We're still traveling. Not doing videos anymore or our website. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this. Obviously, we don't do this for a living. A lot of people do it for a living. We don't.
We do it for fun.
We do it for fun. And yeah, we have a lot of knowledge. It's because we've been there, done that, but so does a lot of other people. So you can find knowledge nowadays. When we first started this back in 2008, there was no information online that was useful to us. We had to learn everything on the fly.
Yeah.
So that's where one of the reasons Outside Our Bubble was started, was to help other people, because I was into the internet. I already knew how to use it and put up websites and what have you. So I figured we would give help to others, and we did. And we never ever marketed ourselves. We never pushed. I mean, it wasn't only till last year, I think, that we started asking people, hey, if you like what we do, click subscribe. Yeah. We've never done that in the past. Somebody says, hey, you should really do that because it reminds people to click subscribe and your subscribers will grow. Well, it did. And
most of the time we remember to say that in the videos.
Yeah. I mean, but it's not something we do for a living. But anyways, I enjoy doing it. I mean, these one-on-one talks, it's unique. But of late, I've been...
It's just a lot of work and it's a lot of time and...
Need some Fireball. Somebody said need some Fireball.
No, Trish has it.
Oh, Trish has our Fireball. Dang
our
it.
next door neighbor has our Fireball because she was making a recipe with it. We usually have it, yes.
I've been getting frustrated, to tell you the truth, recently with a lot of the stuff I've been seeing posted online from people who do videos and what have you. And it's just been disgusting to me because they're posting things because they're paid to do so. Or they're posting things just to post for, I don't know, one reason or another. And it just annoys me. And I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't ever want to be accused of that. And because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in native marketing at all. I mean, it happens every day. It's all it is nowadays is native marketing ads, and I really hate that. And I don't want to be lumped into that. My whole career, our website avsforum.com that I sold back in 2011, which some of you might have heard me mention before. My whole career, my whole background, and everything in regards to how that site was prosperous was because I never played favorites to anybody or any company. So I was always upfront, honest in what I did, and only talked about things that I thought were right. Any case, I'm going to get off that topic now. It's totally. But we've been considering actually stopping this. That's why there hasn't been a lot of videos and stuff this summer.
Somebody says they want to thank us for the Easy Tire TPMS system. It's been working well. Catch Bay has a question for you because I can't answer that. About computers, could you run those 12, 24 volt DC without inverts, also electric things? I think they mean without an inverter.
Without inverter? I don't understand the question. I'm sorry to say, Catch Bay. Could you run those 12, 24 DC without inverters? I'm not sure what the question is. I'm sorry. I'm really. You need, if it's a 110 outlet, you have to have an inverter. I mean, if it's a device that uses 110, like my MacBook Pro right here, I have to have an inverter to run on, so I can plug it in. So I'm not quite sure what the question was there. I do apologize.
Yeah, Kevin. Can you use Nest thermostats? Thermostats.
Thermostat. No.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're not too far off. Like I said, thermostats is my biggest complaint about motor coaches. We're living in the freaking past when it comes to motorhomes. And the motorhome technology, unless you're in a Newell or a Prevost or a Newmar or something like that, where you pay $1 million plus and you get the technology in the coaches, coaches like these just don't do it. I mean, like I said, it's a manual thermostat, for goodness sake, and they've had programmable thermostats for Gosh, forever. In regards to Nest, no, you can't use it because the architecture of how things are done in a motor coach is different than a home in regards to the AC system and the heating system. They don't talk, first of all. And and in regards to Nest, though, funny you mentioned that, my next video coming out will be on the Nest smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors, yeah.
So there's a very interesting thing about Nest and Nest smoke detectors and the use of them in a motorhome, and that's my next video, which I think I'm going to release on Thursday.
What new tech have you added recently on your coach?
Nest thermos. No, excuse me. Nest.
the Nest fire smoke detector.
That hasn't been recently. We've had those for a while, but I've added more of them, I should say. I'm waiting for this counter of people online to go over 100 before I shut this thing down. Anyways, we're at 95. If we've been up to 98, we haven't quite broke 100 that I've seen. Any case, so call your friends right now. No, actually don't, because if you break 100, then we can end the program. I'm only kidding. Let's see, where are we?
Somebody says they love their stay at Southwoods RV Resort this summer.
Great. Yeah, Southwoods is great. I hope you took the time, because I don't recognize the name, I hope you took the time to come say hello to us. Or you maybe learned about us while you were at Southwoods and took a card, and that's why you're subscribed. So in any case, but hello. We have our uniforms. Need some fireball. No newbies. We're reading. Sorry. This is the part where we read to try to catch up.
No, we newbies need someone like you too. We like your videos, but the best ones are just you guys talking to the people. You're so natural and fun. That's why,
well, Cindy, that's one of the things that we think works for us is like most of our videos are tutorials or our review videos. Most of those are one take. Yes, some of them are edited, but they're one take. I mean, people have been here who've seen us do video shoots.
That's Cindy and Bill. That's Cindy.
Oh, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. I'm sorry. Cindy and Bill came and visited us here at Southwoods this year.
Yep.
And they were actually here for the Botlot Camp Jam. Woohoo!
Yeah.
But, yeah, we most of our videos are done in one take, and we try to do it RVer to RVer, and people who meet us in person, we seem to get the same reaction. You're just like in the video. Yeah, we are.
I just, personally, I don't like to be in front of the camera. I'd rather be behind the camera.
And Kevin, I do agree with you. That does make our videos, blogging videos, more refreshing than other ones that are just like this. And this is such a great thing. You have to have this in order to live in a motor home. I hate those.
Yeah, I don't know how they get all the views.
I don't know how they get the views either. It makes no sense.
Maybe we need more cats in our
or is it
videos.
Sex? Oh no, those people don't have sex. But there are some video bloggers that we've seen recently, RVers, that we came across, and we're kind of scratching our heads, and that's where all my hair's gone. Is how are they getting all these views on these videos? And then we realized, oh, it's because she's not wearing much clothes. Not kidding. So then we went back. We thought maybe it was a fluke.
One time.
So we went back. No, that's how it is.
They're all like that.
Don't ask. I'm not telling you who it is.
And no, we're not going there.
No, I told Brenda, I said, you just got to wear a tighter shirt or whatever.
Nope.
Okay, so in any case, what else we got here? Yes, I know AVS Forum being audio video guy too. Yay, Kevin. Let's see. Sorry, reading again. Oh, custom build PC. Oh, good point, Michael. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that aspect of running a custom PC. But yeah, I guess you can do that. I mean, if you have the right stuff to run on it, I don't see any reason you couldn't run directly off the 12 volts of the coach. I mean, Michael and I both have devices that are running off the 12 volts of the coach. Right down to our coach proxy, or the one, coachproxy.com, never mind. That runs directly off the coach power, the CAN bus.
Yeah, the people that said that they enjoyed Southwoods RV Resort, they did meet us. They're from Washington State.
That was a good catch, by the way, Michael, on the 12 volt thing. I didn't think about that aspect of it. I installed a Nest thermostat in my home. Yes, in your home, because the AVAC system in a home is totally different than a motor coach.
Yeah.
And yes, and if I could do one in my motor coach, I would. And now they're starting to do programmable climate control in motor coaches. Finally, after years of bitching at them.
Yeah, and then he says he has a full Nest system, thermostat, smoke detector, and cameras. Surprised you can't use the Nest thermostat in the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't don't even go as far as the Nest. Go as far as just a programmable thermostat. Can't even use those because the ACs are from one manufacturer, the heaters from another manufacturer. They don't talk. You can't.
Tell us how you really feel, dear.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. Motor coaches are so freaking behind the times unless you buy the custom built ones.
What's our opinion of flat towing over tow dolly?
Oh, that's a good question. Flat towing over tow dolly. We prefer flat towing over anything, and trailers or what have you. Only because to us, we can connect and disconnect our tow vehicle in as little as 3 minutes. Done. So if we have to get away, get somewhere, unhook or hook up, whatever, not that you need to rush and you need to do it in 3 minutes. We only did it because we wanted to see how fast we could do it. But tow dollies, which is what you asked about, they're cumbersome to deal with. You have to roll up on them. You have to get on the ground. You have to buckle them in. You have to chain them, blah, blah, blah. You still have to hook it up to the motor coach, mind you, and do all that. And then sometimes you need a place to put that tow dolly because you might not be able to fit into a campsite with it attached.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of campsites, you're good with fitting your 45-foot coach and a car, but there's been some places we've been where our car would have to go perpendicular to the coach because we can't fit it, parallel to it. And where are you going to go with a tow dolly? That's going to stick you out even further. So it's just more of a pain.
Yeah, that's our opinion. In our opinion, and there are reasons people do things like have trailers or tow dollies because they don't want the car that they like or the car that they own. They can't flat tow, so their only choice is to use a tow dolly or a trailer. So there's pros and cons, obviously, to using those. I'd love a trailer but I don't want to deal with, because we travel so much, I don't want to deal with hooking and unhooking and storing it and stuff like that. But I would love the storage space of a trailer. She wouldn't, because she knows I'd get more crap. Toys.
No. Let's think about this for a moment. You would have a traveling movie theater.
Okay, yes, that's true. She's correct. I would actually have a way to make that my... Put it this way. Our shed out there has our shed, which we have vinyl siding around a 12 by 12 room. That's the exterior of the shed, a 12 by 12 overhang. We put vinyl walls up, and this year I added an air conditioner to it so we can use it more. Not kidding.
That's our movie theater.
Look at our, what was it, Facebook post or Instagram from last night. You'll see a photo of a campfire with the movie screen running.
Yep. King Riviera says they know that you love tech and would like to ask your opinion on the Google's new Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL phones.
That's a good question, because once again, my friend Michael is getting a Pixel 2. I have a Pixel. Brenda has a Pixel. And
there's my Pixel.
Yeah.
The Pixel XLs.
Pixel XLs. Yes. We very much like the phones. We just got ours. I mean, in when was it? November. So they're not even a year old, and for us to trade them in and spend $300 and something, I think it was, we calculated it out, to get the new phones.
Well, because they give you a discount when you trade in your older
phone. $410. And I couldn't bring myself. And then one of the things I read also, and I know I'll be corrected from this, possibly by Michael, is that I read that they're also, the Google Pixel 2s, they're only giving you full high-res storage until 2020. After that, it's no more unlimited storage.
It's high resolution.
Yeah,
it drops down.
Yeah, they're dropping it. Our Pixels, unless I missed the fine print, are full high-res for the life of, I guess, whatever it is. That's one of the reasons we bought the Pixel. We take so many photographs, or Brenda does, that we have unlimited storage, supposedly, on Google Photos.
Yeah, I'm a shutterbug. It's digital. It's digital. Now it goes up to the cloud, so why not?
So in any case, we're getting burnt out here.
RV Habit says they just bought a Jeep for a tow. Are we happy with our tow system?
Yes, for our towing system, we use Blue Ox for the tow plate and the tow bar, and we use Air Force One for the braking system. And that's full proportional braking on the Air Force One system, meaning that when we apply the brake pressure in our coach, the brake pressure in the Jeep is applied at the same rate as we're pushing down. So they're both synchronized. So we use the Air Force One and Blue Ox.
Susan says that they were next to an Aqua Hot system in Pensacola that was really loud.
Yeah.
Are they normally that noisy?
No. Unless you service your Aqua Hot systems, they can get pretty bad and also smelly.
Yeah, they do need servicing.
They do need servicing, and the person probably hasn't had it serviced, or he's got or something. Ours are quiet. For the most part, we don't even know it's running inside the coach for the most part. It's never been a problem for us that we've noticed, but we understand we have been parked next to people that has been exactly like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And usually you can smell it because they're not burning properly.
Jeff Branning actually asked a question about coach proxy, which I think actually would be a good question for Michael to answer. He's asking if it'll work in a Monaco.
I can answer that actually.
Option to hook up a Monaco.
I can actually, right now, the coach proxy that we're referring to, which is a control system for a Tiffin motor coach, is just that, Tiffin motor coach. We both own Tiffins. One of the things I greatly missed, and Michael also had, was home automation. I mean, you're talking to a guy who had 96 nodes of Z-Wave in the house. A node is a controllable object. We had 96 controllable objects.
And how many do you have in the motor coach?
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought
it all depends on what's on the CAN bus.
I thought you said there was like 40.
That's devices on the Wi-Fi. Totally different thing.
See, that's why he's the tech guy.
So in any case,
I get confused.
I got 40 parked here right now, and there's 42 devices connected to my motor coach Wi-Fi system. But in any case, we never, Michael or I, we never really thought about doing other manufacturers unless the whole product line was expanded and everything. But it became too much work. And so if they run on a spider system, yeah, Coach Proxy can probably control it, but not without mapping all the different functions that's on the CAN bus. Hope that helped.
We're RV rock stars. That's Tennessee Traveler. You guys are RV rock stars. Thanks, Dave and Brenda.
Michael, I love your comment, by the way. He's not seen the 2020 limit. It is there. It was reported by Brenda. Actually found it.
I found it on Google News somewhere.
On Google News. But he kind of made me laugh because he goes, it'll likely be renewed with the next Google 3 purchase he makes. I really looked hard, Michael, on getting, and I talked to Brenda about getting him. Oh, I didn't realize I was on my camera the whole time. Excuse me. I forget to switch it back. This is my little control panel here. You'll see. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, we were talking about the Pixel, and I talked to Brenda about it, and we just couldn't see spending the new money on the Pixel. There's no benefit that we saw from it except for
the OLED screen.
Well, no, these are OLED too, but it's a different version of OLED.
Oh.
But these are OLED screens also. Having 2 speakers is nice. Front-facing speakers.
Hi, Whisper. Do we have AGM batteries?
Yes, we do. We do have AGM batteries. The camera we're using for this video, we've mentioned twice now, and not that you would know this unless you were online, is the Mevo, M-E-V-O. You can get more details on the camera we're currently using at getmevo.com. M-E-V-O, Mevo. It's built just for streaming, and it's actually built by a company that does professional streaming for networks and what have you. And they decided to make a consumer product.
And it shoots in 4K.
And it uses a 4K chip, which allows us to do things like this, zooming in to different points of the screen, because we're transmitting in 720p, but yet we're using a 4K chip, so we don't lose any resolution doing this. And I can do things like pan. So I'm going to pan over to Brenda And you'll see that happen right now. It's going to Brenda and Whisperer. And I can bring it right back to me. Hi. Any case, it's fun. So listen, guys, we're getting burnt out from here. Yes, we use AGM batteries.
Hi, Ken and Diana.
Hi. Oh, Ken Curtis is finally. Hi, Ken.
Custis.
Ken Custis is online. We've been talking now for well over an hour, and
coming up on 2 hours, I think.
And we're getting burned out. So we're gonna end this conversation at this point, and I guess that's that. For those of you who are followers of ours, thank you. For those of you who just found out about us, please click subscribe. See, there I do. Click subscribe.
You remembered.
Click the subscribe button.
There you go.
If you're new to us, click subscribe, please. Spread, if you want us to keep doing what we do, I guess spread the word, and we'll see what we do. Do we use solar? Ken wants to know. I have 2 solar panels. We don't dry camp enough, Ken, to really utilize them. I spent the extra money to add the second panel. I didn't need to do that. I shouldn't have done that because I know better. Because we don't dry camp enough to require solar.
Are the heated floors worth the money?
Oh!
Yes!
We would never, ever, ever be in a motor coach that doesn't have heated floors. It is our number one source of heat when we need it.
And the cats love it too.
The cats love it too, yeah.
That's worth it right there. Come on.
Yeah, the $5,000 or ours was $4,000 when they had it as an option. Yeah, we would definitely not. We definitely would always have one.
Someday, if we ever get another coach, we will get heated floors.
Yes.
One way or another.
Yes. Oh, and there is a manufacturer out there that does heated floors using the AquaHot. I would never, ever buy a coach. Sorry, my opinion. My humble opinion. Remember that. Humble opinion. I would never buy a motor coach that used the AquaHot system as the heated floor source. Because to heat that tile floor, that sucker has to run for a very long time. The BTUs needed to create that heat, you're going to be burning a lot of diesel fuel. And literally, people have told me it takes anywhere between 12 and 18 hours to get the floor up to temperature.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I actually called AquaHot on this one time and asked them about it because we were considering a manufacturer that actually did it that way. And AquaHot says, well, you can do it, but we surely don't recommend it. So that tells you something. Yes, it works. We would never do it. Anyways, I don't know why I got on that subject.
But heated floors, yes.
Yeah, heated floors,
good.
Yes. Good, yes. And let's face it, most of the time when you're parked somewhere, you're not paying for the electric anyways, and these are electric heated floors, so that's another bonus.
Yeah.
I think that's that. I think we're going to say...
I think we're good now.
I think we're good now. So, any case, we're going to end this now and say, no, you are incorrect. To the floor, you are incorrect. Tiffin does not use the AquaHot for the floors. No way in hell would I do that. And no, they do not do that. They only use the AquaHot for water and your main coach heating.
You can actually see our heated floors on our time-lapse video of our build.
Yeah, they use electric heated floors.
It's the electric mat that goes down that has all the wires.
Oh, now he says, I think. Yep. Rethink that.
Yeah. I hope you get bored more often.
Okay. Well, it's a lot easier to do these impromptu videos. Then we get yelled at. People will write us and they will say, you're going to let us know when you're going to go live. Well, we don't ever know when we're going to go live. So it's kind of hard to schedule things for us.
It's just a rainy day here and we figured why not. I think I'm going to run next door now, though, and get the fireball back from Trish.
Somebody asked if the cats are good travelers. Our cats are great travelers.
David's going to turn the camera now so you can see Whisper. He's got his own little throne right there at the window.
He looks thrilled, doesn't he? He's like, are you guys doing this again?
Don't make fun of Whisper. He's 19 years old.
Yes, he is.
And BK is sound asleep in the other room. He knows better than to come out because then he'll be on camera.
Any case, we're gonna end this like I've said 3 times now, or 4 is it?
Yeah, we're good.
So well, I'm David.
Play the Jeopardy theme song when you're reading and not talking. Sorry. Oh. Okay. That was fun.
Wait, now I have to get a whole supply of sound effects to do stuff like that with. No, I won't do that. Don't worry. We'll have to figure out when and how to go live. Or not, we know how to go live. We'll just have to do it again sometime soon. So,
I think we're good.
I'm David.
And I'm Brenda.
And we're from, if you don't know, OutsideOurBubble.com. And we're asking you,
when's the last time you got outside your bubble?
This was one of ours. See ya.
Bye.